What's good, guys? It's Edible Incredible back with another theory, specifically about Link in the game, and his origins before the game even took place. If you look back at every 3D Zelda game, literally each game, with the exception of Majora's Mask, begins where Link was grown up and raised. In Ocarina of Time, it was the Kokiri Forest. Wind Waker was, of course, Outset Island, Twilight Princess, Ordon Village, and Skyward Sword, of course, Skyloft. So, Breath of the Wild Link, he's a new Link to the series. He must have grown up somewhere in Hyrule. Right, Nintendo? Well, since we have no idea where Link was born in Breath of the Wild, let's see if we can figure it out ourselves. So in the beginning of the game, Link wakes up in the Shrine of Resurrection. So he was born there, right? Nah, bro, he definitely was not born there. Because as we know from the memories with Link and Zelda, Link got knocked out or killed, and then he was sent to the Shrine of Resurrection. So I have three ideas to where maybe he grew up before everything went down. Let's go through the three and see what makes sense. So if we look back at the 4 3D Zelda games, 2 of the 4 he grew up in a forest. Kokiri Forest and Ordon Village are definitely forest-based areas. And Outset Island from Wind Waker is actually in the same area, because the Great Sea underneath is Hyrule, as Kokiri Forest on the Wind Waker map. Just like how Dragon Roost Island is the old Death Mountain from centuries ago. Even the theme on Outset Island is actually very similar, and actually you can YouTube this yourself. It's very similar to the theme from Kokiri Forest. So as we can see, most places that Link was grown up and raised are forest regions or areas. So maybe in Breath of the Wild, he also grew up in the forest area. So what's the most dominant, prominent forest area in Breath of the Wild? The Korok Forest, where you get the Master Sword and you meet the Koroks and the Great Deku Tree. But I don't think Link grew up here. Just look at it here. The area where the Koroks live is so small and tiny. I don't think a Hylian could even grow up in this kind of area. Plus, usually Hylians grow up with other Hylians, and you don't see any other human kind of people in the Korok Forest. I don't think he grew up here. Next, I believe maybe he grew up in Hateno Village. There's a whole bunch of Hylians living here, and even Link's house is located here. But of course it isn't his house from 100 years ago, it's just from the house that you bought nowadays. So maybe it came full circle and he's living in the same place as before? Well, I don't think so. Mainly because, in my opinion, I don't believe Hateno Village was even a thing 100 years ago. I believe that everyone that lives in Hateno Village now is all a direct ancestor from the Great Calamity, from what happened to where the Hylians used to live. And I believe the Hylians used to live in, and this is my next idea for where Link lives, Castle Town. Sadly, there's like no proof, because just look around, everything's wrecked. Thanks, Ganon. And we can't even ask Link because 1, he's not going to talk to us, he's pretty silent. And 2, he doesn't even freaking remember. Which sucks, yo. Think about this for a second. Just imagine your childhood and everything before that. Totally wiped clean. Alright, back on track to my theory. So the main reasons why I believe Link did in fact grow up in Castletown is because it basically used to be the Hateno Village of today. And Link's house is ironically enough built in Hateno Village. But more so because of this. Check this out. In one of the memories between Link and Zelda, the one where it's raining and Link is practicing his sword techniques, Zelda brings up Link's father. And she says something along the lines that, "You're dedicated to your training, just like how your father was." And I know this is really simple and not anything right in your face and huge, but I believe these simple words from Zelda actually give us the reasons why Link, I think, was born and raised with other Hylians in Castle Town. Zelda and the King of Hyrule must have known of Link's dad and that little bloodline that was going on for Link, but they recognized him not just as Link, but as the appointed knight for Zelda, and basically the entire kingdom. Now this is my final reason right here. When they use the words appointed knight, I think this finalizes how Link must have grown up in Castletown. If you grew up somewhere else, like the forest or another village, I I don't think they would have referred to him as the appointed knight. But at the end of the day, that's just my theory. Now I want to hear from you guys. Comment down below where you think Link was born and raised in Breath of the Wild. Trust me, I want to hear all the opinions. But I want to talk about me for a second. So actually last night, I was able to play some Mario Kart with some friends. And usually I play a little bit and my wrists actually still bother me. But last night, actually, they weren't bothering me too much. So maybe they're actually beginning to heal. So that's good news. I'm going to continue to try not to punch as much videos out as I can like I used to. But instead keep continually, you know what I meant. Resting my wrists until I can continue to pump out videos like I used to. But that's about it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this theory. And you know what it is. It's Edible Incredible signing out, my homies. Stay hype, people. And